Thank you. Maybe quickly on behalf of ICANN, I'd like to thank our partners and host, Talal Wahela Organization. I'd like to thank NTIA and the DNS Center for organizing this workshop, and of course Dr. Luca for providing the time out of his very busy schedule, I can tell, to be with us for a couple of days, and I hope it will not be the last time. And maybe one important thing we would like to get from you is the feedback form. And actually, it's more. It might be more than just the questions that are listed there. I mean, anything you want to let us know about, especially in relation to the content of the program. This is the first time we do this program. Of course, it's not the first time for the instructors to talk about these topics, but it's first time for the center, together with ICANN, to organize a workshop on the topic. So I'm sure we have overlooked some parts, like the comment we got from Mustafa the other day about the technical background of DNS, which was very valid. So this kind of feedback we would like to get, because we plan more of these workshops in the future. So your feedback will be very important, and we will take it into consideration. Any questions you have, whether about the content of this course or about any other issues in relation to the center itself and its role, its plans in the future, we have all the people from the center here. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding ICANN. I guess we still have maybe, 20 or 30 minutes according to the official schedule, and I'm very keen to use them, if you don't mind. So any feedback, any comments, we still have some time. So please feel free to raise your hand and raise your voice. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the partners for this important workshop, but I would have appreciated if there were some shedding light on the Egyptian laws governing the IP and governing the domain and governing the cyber crimes maybe, but not that generally, but the Egyptian laws and specifically what it does to face such infringement.
Thank you, Mohammed. Please make sure you include this remark, very important remark, in your sheet, please. Thank you. More comments? We still have time. We will not go out of this room before we get to the end of the schedule, which is, we have till 4 p.m., so it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. More questions, comments? Feedback. ممكن مفيش ولا حاجة.
Complaint.
Yeah, please.
Before different workshop about the DNS and the domain name and so, but actually we are not able to make any difference in the market even here in Egypt about the local domain and the .mas and all this stuff, and which is bothering all of us because we are learning much but we cannot apply any of our knowledge with our business. So I was wondering if we can have something like sort of how to market the DNS in Egypt, be just about marketing the product, and to work with other companies, all involved companies in the industry, to make a plan and make it really apply and do it in the real world. Because for us, I noticed that we are losing a local domain. The cancellation number of the local domains is getting high because most of the customers who registered the domain before is not using it and don't have a website. The .mas is losing a huge number of the customers because till now, not even any known company using the website in Arabic and using it with advertising and so. So I was wondering if we can focus on this area, and I believe it's gonna have a great impact if we really apply what we are learning and we try to work with all companies to make it applicable, to get use of it.
Okay, thank you again. I think this is a very important comment, and then I'll try to also, yeah, I'm not trying to make it like one-on-one conversation, but there's one question I want to react with. When you say that we're not able to change the kind of status quo of the domain name market in Egypt, so why are we not able to change it? Why are we not, as companies, as registries, as registrars, why we're not able to change it?
I believe because the company is not focusing on the DNS as a product that should put an effort to use to sell it. I'm a data center company, and the main focus in my company will be the virtual dedicated servers or the television. They're not focusing mainly on the domain names. I mean, yeah, they would love to see a number of sales and grow, and they are noticing that it's getting moving more than before. But they are not focusing mainly to sell it. And when we say domain name, till now, we mention a domain name, or any one of us, if he said, what are you working, and start to talk about my work, no one understands what I'm working, no one understands the data center and this thing, and they cannot notice the difference between a domain name and a website. So it's a problem that no one focusing on making people educated about this word to start using and the customers.
So again, you know what? I mean, this is an interesting point, and if your clients do not know the difference between website and domain name, I think that's absolutely fine, and they don't need to know or to understand DNS. I mean, website is enough. They know they want a website. And you know that in order for them to get a website, you need to register them a domain name, and this is how the business works.
Clarify the point when
but yeah, so any reaction to this comment? Yeah, please.
I think that we don't have an IP awareness in general, and especially in DNS. Plus, in all the businesses are using more social media pages like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They are not using at all the domain names. Even TV channels, they are relying on the pages of this on social media.
Hashtags.
Yes, yes. They are not thinking about even registering their domain name. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem, of course. Okay. And if we can see all the billboards in our country, we will not find any domain on it.
So back to your question, is it more of how to market the product itself, or how to convince the higher management of the importance of this product?
Actually, I think if we have the sort of clear market plan, it will include how to educate people about the importance of using a domain name. So logically, the two points related to each other. If you're focusing on marketing, so we will be aware of how can we convince the customer that it's important. That's why we should.
So it's more about the market awareness and customer awareness, but not about convincing higher management of the importance of this product. I mean, I might have a good marketing plan, but my company is not convinced, and still I can't get it implemented. So
if the marketing plan was successful and it make an impact, they are touched with the money language. So if they can see the impact and the revenue from this product, they will start to focus on it. That's how we make them notice that there is a product we can use and we can have a good revenue with it.
So maybe this is one. I mean, there are two things. I mean, awareness about domain name and what domain name means for an individual, for a business, and so forth. And then the other point about the IP awareness, which I think may come in a later stage. If people don't know what domain name in the first place, probably they don't know the value of the IP or the intellectual property. But maybe this is one of the areas that the DNS Center will have to look at, and again, in doing so, it will have as a center, it will have to work with the key players, registrars, registries, maybe others, intellectual property lawyers, media, press, So I can, of course, be ready to help. Your suggestion about doing a workshop focusing on the marketing element, this is something that we've already done, not in Egypt. We've done it as part of the center initiative in 2 other countries last year, and we're doing it next week actually. But again, this is a workshop that is focused on the local market. So we're going to go to Oman, for example, with the registry of .om, and the local registrars will stay in this room like this for like 2 days, doing market analysis on .om, what are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and so forth. And the outcome of this exercise is a set of recommendations and priority areas for registries and registrars to work on. And I can tell you from past experience with this kind of workshop, it would be absolutely useless to do such a workshop unless those who are involved in the workshop and in the business would take the recommendations seriously and try to implement at least some of them. If it's going to end by the end of the 2 days, then it's almost, useless. So this is something we can certainly do in Cairo, should there is a need for it as a topic. Again, it's not about doing the workshop and bringing the experts to the workshops. It's more about you as stakeholders to believe in the need for such a workshop. This is something we can certainly consider. So,
Mr. Mayor, I think it's volume of e-commerce in the region. So it's more than push for the enhancing the business of DMS only. It relates to the e-commerce as a whole, which relates to the education in the region, the developed countries and the developing countries difference. So it needs more than one push. It needs more than workshops. Starting from, I think, believing in the human right in access to internet. If we believe in this right, we can do much enhancing the internet.
yeah, I think you're right, Mustafa. This is something as part of our as ICANN strategy, part of our strategy in the Middle East. We were requested to conduct a market study on the DNS business in the Middle East, and we contracted one of the leading registers in this field, .eu, and the study, the draft report has been posted a couple of months ago, and the final report is coming up in the next couple of weeks, so it will be ready during February. And the draft is online, and the final report will be online as well. And I think this is something maybe, the center, you can share the link with the participants. Then the study actually has looked into not only e-commerce and content and services, it also looked at areas that fall outside the narrow space of DNS, but still those areas do affect the growth and the evolution of the DNS industry. Things related, as you said, to freedom, to access or freedom of expression online, affordability measures, the availability of infrastructure, availability of local content. And this local content may or may not be in the local language. So one of the interesting things that the study found that in countries that has that are sort of rich in their culture and they have large populations, countries like Egypt. I'm talking about the Middle East because the study covered 26 countries. So countries like Egypt, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey. Based on surveys, they found that, I'm not sure about the percentage, but vast majority of internet users in those countries, they prefer to use the internet in their local languages. And even in saying using the internet, the study differentiated between using the internet like on social media, friends talking to each other, using the internet in business, using the internet in dealing with the government for e-government services, using the internet in education, and so forth. So in the 4 countries, because again, these are the countries with the large populations, with the rich and old history, culture, and so forth, whereas other countries like GCC, Emirates, Qatar, etc., expats, so Arabic language is not relevant, so the language is not an issue. But still, the need for services that are tailored, whether e-commerce, e-government, etc., that are tailored toward the local community and they serve the local community, regardless, of the language of those services or the interface, etc. Again, this is also required that you need services that cater for your communities. But if you're lacking this kind of or these kind of services and you rely most of the time on Facebook, so if you're a company or even some government departments within Egypt and other countries, their sort of official interface with the public is through Facebook, which is مش منطقي to say the least. The area of content and local content services, etc., is key, and there are other parts. So I would encourage you and others to look at this study. If I have your emails, I can simply send you the link. The draft is available, as I said, and the final report is coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
We have an alumni mailing list for the center, so I guess we have all your email addresses by now, so we'll be adding you to the alumni mailing list and we'll be sharing everything with everyone, including the material whenever we have this available. And just 2 quick points to add to this interesting brainstorming. I think we also need to educate people why they need domain name and not a Facebook page, because again, nowadays most people say, I don't really need to go through this domain name complex process when I can get up my Facebook page faster. And the other thing also, I think companies should look into, or registrars, or should look into providing a turnkey solutions to end customers. I mean, not just selling the domain name, because again, the market is not mature enough. People will take the domain name, they won't use it, and ultimately they won't renew it. But if it is a working web page, a working portal, e-service, whatever, then people will have hits on this and they will be more committed to renewing, and again, you can get more customers. So those are my 2 points for now.
Please.
I'm here in this workshop because I work in R&D and I'm involved in the process of the agreement with the ICANN about having the registration in .arab. And I was working here in this topic from 2013, and it was so difficult for me because I can't have any legal background in this issue. I looked a lot on the internet and other resources, but I find nothing. So this workshop was very helpful for me, and I think that's all legal aspect of anything is always helpful, because it shows you the legal aspects of new topics that's not legal in itself, like crimes and other legal issues. So I'll be happy if I can have maybe agreement to hold other workshops in this regard, but on a regional scope, maybe for all our countries. It's a new topic, and a part of raising the awareness in this regard, I think we can manage any kind of to organize any kind of workshops, trainings, any kind of building capacities for our countries in this regard. So I'm not sure if that's would be with I can make we have another agreement, which is MOU or something like that, to about coordination between the two entities. And of course, the help of ATG would be very useful in this regard.
Sure. I mean, we can certainly, and we do actually have agreements with quite a few organizations in the region. I mean, we have many MOUs with organizations around the world. Maybe in the Middle East, we have 3 or 4. One of which with the NTRA for the DNS Center. And what you mentioned about having similar activities and similar workshops at regional level, this is exactly one of the sort of functions or tasks of the DNS Entrepreneurship Center, because again, the scope of the center is regional scope. It covers both Africa and the Middle East. And I'm sure that the FAB will be one of the sort of, attractive, projects to work on. It's a new GTLD, and it comes in both ASCII and Arabic, and it serves a community that is kind of, it's a green community if we look at it from DNS point of view. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of education needed, awareness, and so forth. And this is exactly what we're here to help with as ICANN, in partnership with Arab League, with the organization from Talal Wazara, with the Center and NTIA, and so forth, and of course with all CCTLDs. So also to mention that in all our activities in the domain name space, we always involve the CCTLDs in the country, all of the countries, because we strongly believe that the domain name system, domain name industry in any country cannot evolve, cannot grow without the full involvement of the CCTLD. So CCTLD is the main vehicle in driving this business in the country. I mean, the experience has shown us this. So working with you all on these kind of activities is something that we are certainly willing to do. Thank you.
I would like to highlight again, maybe Chairman was speaking about the importance of having a bit of liberal policies in some of the registries. And since we have the registry, I would like to hear from you, your view on this. If you are considering at some point or looking into having looser policies or.
Actually, we are going to change some constraints regarding the restriction under the COM, for example. We are thinking about taking the IG, the national IG as a reference without reference to the commercial registry as it is applied now. We are actually trying to release some conditions related to some subdomains, especially .com. But I don't think it is the main problem regarding the lack of number of domains and .eg is only the restrictions. I think it is the full package. Maybe the restrictions may be there is no payment online payment system. There is no awareness enough, as Nadine mentioned, in the market. If you see Egypt have no accredited ICANN register, for example, The Facebook maybe also have a direct impact the domain name. There is several reasons maybe reflect on the number of the domain. One of them shows that the restrictions regarding the amount of documents needed to register under the .com, for example. But so we are going to see the requirement with another to release it in the future, I think.
And maybe also the local presence. Though I did find
the local presence is not required only under the second level. If you register, for example, with a phone.eg, only the second level required the representative in Egypt or local presence. Under .com.eg, there's no need to have a local representative in Egypt to register under .com.eg. Only the second level, it's newer. It's not open from a few years ago, so it have a more restricted requirement. Not only .org, for example, there is no need to have a local representative. Only the second level.
Very good. Behavior side. Okay. Right. If there are no further comments or questions, again, thank you very much for.
There is one home.
I'm sorry?
Home, not a comment on.
Sure.
Could you please feed us more in the legal perspective from such workshops and courses that we can to enhance our experience in such
And maybe one more thing, just reminded, one program we have within ICANN to sort of encourage and attract more participation from different regions, particularly developing regions, is a fellowship program that we started almost 9 years ago. And with this program, people from developing countries can come and attend ICANN meetings, which take place 3 times every year, and they get support for travel and accommodation through ICANN. And in each and every meeting, we get almost 50 participants, fellows. And the good thing about this program is that it ensures some sort of continuity. That people who attend the meeting once and they prove through the reports and feedback that they have the interest and they have the kind of will to work with ICANN and the ICANN community, they often get the chance again to come to more ICANN meetings, and then through coming to ICANN meetings, you can also become part of one or more of the working groups within ICANN that work on the policy development of domain names. There are, many different tracks, whether business, legal, technical, policy, and so forth. So the fellowship program of ICANN is one, avenue for community from developing countries to learn more about ICANN and engage more with the ICANN community. But of course, in addition to that, any regional kind of activities in the field of legal issues will make sure that you will get information about this beforehand. As Manal said, the center maintains a mailing list for the alumni, for the participants, so make sure you subscribe. Do they know how to subscribe to this?
There is no there is no online subscription so far, but we're going to add the email addresses we have to the mailing list. And
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you inshallah next time.
we just need to distribute.
Please.
Maybe one picture of this one.